Thank you. My name is not one Itinorio, it's one Pitinorio. It's been my understanding that when a company goes into a Chapter 11, it becomes very lucrative for attorneys. So can I ask the good people up there to do this Chapter 11 pro bono? So instead of 2 months, maybe we can have 3 months of pension. Would that be a fair thing to ask?
No.
Being serious, let's address the Mrs. Fosco comment, or question rather. I think the major concern because of the aging population of the retirees would be the health insurance. So if we can extend this health insurance beyond the two-month period, you guys were looking at, I think it can give a tremendous peace of mind for those people, especially those that are barely making it because of the high cost of electricity, fuel, and what else, and barely making it, and yet they're on medication. So the health insurance for the retirees is a very, very critical issue, and I think that this is, Lydia there brought up a very good point about her concern about the medical insurance. Armenia. Sorry. Can you do it for the room, please?
There's a question, Mr. Tenorio. There's actually a proposed legislation at the legislature transferring the obligation to pay all of the retirees' health and life insurance premiums to the government as opposed to the retirement fund, so that the retirement fund can focus on paying for your pension.
Thank you.
My name is Lori Hunter, and I'm a retiree, and I give these guys a hard time a lot, so I know that it took a long time for them to finally bring the mic to me. But my question is, again, like you say, the first 2 months were okay. And then after that, in the meantime, during the 2 months, you're going to be working with a creditors committee that is supposedly made up of everybody concerned. Did I understand that you already have that list provided?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I still have other questions until I'd like the answer to that before I go on.
In connection with the Chapter 11 filing, we gave to the U.S. trustee a list of retirees that we based on the company's review of their list of members, believed to be representative of the different types of fund members we have. Again, there are active employees, there are retirees, Class 1, Class 2, different people at different stations in life, people who are owed a lot per month, people who will get very little per month. That seemed to us to be the best way for the trustee to select a committee that would be representative of not just some views, but all views.
So I understood you correctly. Okay, is there a possibility that list could be provided so we can see who are on that list representing us? Because
yes, it was filed.
I really appreciate the trustees and their volunteer time and all of that, but they haven't been very transparent with the retirees as far as I'm concerned. This bankruptcy thing, was kind of a rough pull under our people. There was a pension holdings, a corporation created. We didn't know anything about that. If it's such a good thing, why didn't you let us know? Those are the things that, raises serious questions in our mind as to what is going on. Why weren't we let know if it's such a very good thing? I don't know much about bankruptcy. I want to know, though, that after 2 months, if nothing happens, you know, with these negotiations going on and all of that, what happens? What, like representative of mine from Precinct 1 says, well, what's the scenario that we're going to be faced with? You know, if you said you're going to try your best to continue for 3, 4, 5 months to get our benefits. But what happens if it doesn't? And the reason why we're concerned and we're asking, at least right now, if we continue the way if we were to continue the way we are, we got 2 years. But at least we have 2 years to get ready. But this was just pulled on us today, you know, just today.
Yes.
Guys had 3 hours or less to get the notice to come to this meeting. You know, I think it's pretty good turnout for such a short notice. We're the retirees. You're there to represent us. And we would really appreciate knowing what you are discussing, because you're the expert. We'll listen to you. But we would appreciate taking part. But now you're talking about a creditors committee that you're going to be working with, and you've already prepared a list. We don't know who they are. We'd like to know. I'd like to know who's going to be there representing me as a retiree class 2. And I'm sure the class 1 would like to know who's representing them and all of that. And I don't think it's going to be very hard to provide a list of people.
If I could answer your question,
Okay.
yes, you can have that list. It was filed on the public docket, but certainly if you're interested in seeing a list, we can provide that to you.
I'm sure everyone would like to see it. And is there a chance that we could nominate other names, or?
You might want to ask them if they want to be nominated, but if the question is, can people volunteer for the committee? Absolutely.
But you said there's only about 7 that will create the committee of creditors?
The trustee will select, typically it's between 5 and 7, sometimes there are committees of 9.
I see.
It's not within this board's control, it's within the U.S. trustee's control.
Okay. So after 3 months, we might not even get any more paycheck until something is decided.
Yeah.
Because I know that they've been talking about cutting. Miss Alepujo was on the news tonight explaining that they had to do this because they asked the judge, Judge Govendo, to do something about prolonging the life of. She should have just come out and says, we asked the judge to cut the pension. Because that's what it was. I was in court that day. He asked the judge to cut the pension, and Judge Govendo says, no, even if I could, I will not do it. And so that's the whole point. And like the representative said, that is pretty much, I'm sure, one of those topics that you're going to be negotiating with the creditors committee. And the thing is that, is there any other tools that you can use besides just cutting the, thank you.
If I could, there were a couple questions in there, and if I could, I'd like to address them because they're important questions. I'll start going backwards because that's how my mind works. I remember what happened most recently. The question is there something that the bankruptcy court can do to help us realize upon the judgment to help bring more money in? Because there are two sides of the equation. There's what goes out and there's what comes in. We're looking at both, absolutely, and both have equal importance. The one we can control today is what goes out. The one we can get to as soon as possible in front of the court is what comes in. And again, that is a focus of our efforts, and we want to make sure we address that. And the question was, what happens day 61 of the case, to paraphrase. And I think that's an important question that has come up. And so I want to make sure we do our level best to address that. We will have a proposal to the court to deal with day 61 forward. And at some point, we will have a proposal to the court to deal with what happens coming out of bankruptcy. We would much rather have that proposal be informed by your views. Health insurance is a paramount concern to some people. Other aspects of the benefits provided may be of different levels of concern to other people. But that's the kind of input we need, that's the kind of input we're going to get through this retiree committee. So I would encourage people who are interested in serving, contact the U.S. trustee. It should be made up of the people who are most interested in the process. We need your views, we want your views.
My name is Tom Bayas. I'm also a member of the PAN. The question, well, the first thing is, this thing happened like, I don't know how many years the government stopped paying up. It took the retirement just 3 years ago, you guys did something to, I guess, make the government pay that. I feel sorry for these people that are making maybe $8,000–7,000, and in 2 months you guys are gonna do a reduction. I don't think these people can afford the, you know, the whatever they need to pay, or even, who knows, even us, maybe in 2 months we'll file bankruptcy too. So I'm not sure where we're heading after 2 months. Honestly, it's gonna be the same as the members. That's all.
Jeremy, I wanted to ask if you could let the members know that the list of members for the creditor committee have not been contacted. So your name could be on the list. We went through and just selected people based on getting a variety of classes, active retirees, disability annuitants, survivors, and a range of pension levels. So your name may be on the list, and you may be contacted by the trustee to serve, and if a volunteer you can accept or not accept. So when you see the list, that is not people who have already agreed and are definitely members. Those are our recommendations to the trustee to consider, that is a cross-section.
Good evening to the board and the director, Mr. Bill Gomez. My name is Tor Sablan, and I'm a member of the House of Representatives. And for the record, today I voted against House Bill 17-226. And we believe that such legislation would only speed up the death of the fund. And anyway, earlier it was mentioned that that after considering and looking at all options available in regards to addressing the status of the fund, that filing Chapter 11 was the best alternative available, and that because Chapter 11 reorganization would provided the tools that will allow the fund to address its current financial situation. Now, aside from, and I foresee that under this reorganization in this process, that one of the controlling or major items that would be entertained or looked at is this issue of benefits. And aside from the reduction of benefits, because I foresee that on the list is the reduction of benefits. The board has publicly come out on numerous occasions saying that the only way to address the fund's situation is through the reduction of benefits. And maybe Chapter 11 process will allow the board to do that. However, I think a lot of us over here are sitting and wondering how the federal bankruptcy laws hold up against constitutional provision that created the fund and provided the protection against the reduction of benefits already accrued to those members. So those are some of the issues that I hope that the 2-month target date is sufficient to resolve those issues. But here we have a constitutional provision, constitutional provision that members of the board, the legal team up here, is arguing that that it will be superseded by U.S. federal bankruptcy laws. Now, I hope that one particular issue would be resolved within 2 months. Otherwise, these pensioners sitting here tonight are gonna wonder where their next payment for their financial obligations is going to come from after the 2-month period. So aside from the reduction in benefits, what other tools that is provided for under the Chapter 11 proceeding reorganization is there for the board to consider that obviously you guys are so confident that 2 months is enough for you guys to move on. I guess I'm sorry, but I'm not so optimistic that all these issues are going to be resolved. So for that, number one, aside from the reduction in benefits, and I want to hear from the members over there if I am wrong, then tell me that the reduction in benefits is not one of the items or one of the tools available. The other one is what are the tools are available? And I think it was mentioned earlier in regards to recovery of the amount owed by the government to the fund. But you know what other, because when you talk about reorganization in its most common sense, when it dealing with corporations, you're dealing with reduction in force, cutback in costs and all that. But with the fund, it's not your typical reorganization Chapter 11 case. Thank you.
One thing I want to point out before I turn it over to Jeremy is, for the answers to most of your questions, is a short comment on what the board has been saying. The board has been putting forth not just that there needs to be cuts. In fact, that isn't the board's position. The board's position is that the fund, because of government action, is so catastrophically underfunded that it is faced with a choice. And every year going forward, this is the choice. This is what the actuaries say. The legislature and the government can either give us $60 million or we can cut $60 million. Or there can be something in the middle there. But what there has to be, what there must be, is an increase in funds. And what I think everyone in this room knows is that there has not been an increase in funds that comes from the government. And so when there's a statement that the board, when there's a statement that the board has only been about cutting funds, I would take slight issue with that and say that the board is about maximizing value and maximizing assets. And apparently feedback. But, and what we're trying to do with this reorganization is not just, and Jeremy will deal with this more than I can, but it's not just to adjust the benefits, it's to maximize the assets as well. And all assets need to be maximized. And I'll turn it over to Jeremy and you can discuss that. All of your questions.
Thank you, Brad. Your question was, are we going to have everything figured out in the first 2 months of the case? And the answer is, we may not, but we don't need to have the whole case figured out in the first 2 months. What we need to have is the start of the process. Chapter 11 is a process. You start with filing the petition, you end with the confirmation of the plan. And between those two steps, there is a lot of negotiation. There's a lot of input we need to get from you. So your question is, what can the bankruptcy do to realize upon that judgment? Well, let me start off with, what is that judgment? That judgment may be one of the most valuable assets of the fund. You're owed money. You have a judgment saying you're owed money. The Federal Bankruptcy Code gives certain tools, one of which we can file a writ of attachment, one of which we may seek to enforce the judgment using the Federal Bankruptcy Code. But again, these are issues that the board has asked us to look at very, very carefully, and we're in the process of doing that. We have not yet delivered our recommendation as to the best way to get it done. But rest assured that your trustees are focused on that, and that is one of the key issues that we'll need to address in this Chapter 11 case.
We just follow up for the benefit of the pensioners. What is the I hate to say worst case scenario, but what's the scenario after the 2 months? And what can the retirees expect immediately after 2 months?
Jeremy, before you answer, the people in the lobby are having a very hard time hearing you, so you can bring your mic closer.
Are you going to answer that, or?
I'm sorry, they were giving me instruction on how to speak louder, so I, 2 months. After 2 months, what you can expect is we will have a proposal for the court that will allow us to continue to make payments in the case. We may or may not have the final resolution, but you can expect that we will work diligently towards that, and we'll have made a lot of progress. But it takes two to tango. We need someone on that side of the aisle that's going to be working with us so we can come to the court with that proposal. So again, we encourage participation. This process is about participation. We hope that you will be involved.